So hello YouTube. My name is Rafael. I'm host here on Talk and Talk. We will start a new immersion. I'm here with Diego and Joaquin to talk about learning process. So how to learn, learning about how to learn. So it's something very interesting. Just a little presentation about myself. I've already said, but my name is Rafael. I'm 32. I'm a lawyer. I've been living in Europe for the last 4 years. I used to live in France, after in Netherlands, and nowadays, currently, I live in Austria. And but I'm a Brazilian guy that like to learn foreign language, especially French and English right now. And that's it about me. So, guys, let's start our conversation. And I would like to ask you, starting with you, Diego,
Sure.
what kind of learner are you? I don't know if you agree with this kind of divisions, and if you can explain is your visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Do you believe in this kind of thing, or how do you define you as a learner?
I, I totally believe. On the past, I studied a little bit about um, learning, philosophy of learning. Okay, learning philosophy. And I remember when we learned about Aristoteles. I don't know in English Aristotle. I don't know. Uh, this guy, there is one good phrase he used it to say that nemo sumo in men's. I forgot in Latin, but I will speak in English. Okay, there there is no thing in our mind that previous come uh, through our senses. I don't know if I can speak in English this because it's a little bit difficult. Não há nada na nossa mente que antes não tenha passado pelos nossos sentidos. It's a way
Mm.
to understand how can people in one school of learning. Okay, it's just one layer of this kind of studies, but I really like it. I think that's very practical and easy to understand. Um, all the things pass through our senses before came to our mind, to our brain, and it's the way that we learn it. For example, if I talk to Joaquin, can you talk to me about the flavor of pastel de Belém? If I never taste or eat a pastel de Belém, it's very difficult to explain. But for Joaquim, no, it's good because it's a part of Joaquin's life. I think so because it's a good Portuguese dessert. Okay,
Have
and
to be.
yes, and this point is so important because people more visual, they use it more. They use more the visual sense to understand and to comprehend and to apprehend the thing. Okay, the object of the study. And people who use more the audition, another one is more with the touch. And in my case, I don't know. I'm a very visual guy. I use it to make a lot of mental models when I start to learning. Mind maps too. This help me to build the logical of the subject and the study better. I think that's my way to learn.
Interesting, interesting. I have a lot of comment about it, but let's listen Joaquin now, and after I make my comments. What kind of learner are you, Joaquin?
Um, about me, it depends of the subject that we are learning. For example,
Mm.
if we are studying material or disciplines for an exam, for example, if I am in the college or the university, for example, if I have, for example, if I need to study, for example, math, chemic, physics, I am a learning. I am a learning that I need to understand. I need to understand the subject. I need to understand the subject to memorize the material. Because if I only memorize, after 2 days, 1 week, I forgot the subject. I need to understand. I need to understand the subject, the material, to practice and to learn. Visual. If for example, if I have something to do, when hobby, for example, anything that I need to make to do, visual, I think it's the better. For example, if you have some profession, and if you need to learn something, I think the visual method is the better, because we are seeing the things that is happen. It happened. The auditories, it's good. It's good also. For example, to learn or to practice the English or the language. Auditory here it's good to learn the material, the subjects. It's very, very practical to learn.
Interesting, Joaquin. I think that you taught it very important things. For example, just starting with you, Joaquin, I think it's very interesting, and I how said I agree with you when you said that it depends of the what you have to learn. Because
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. You have something to say, Joaquin? Do you want to say
You-
something?
to read the second,
No. Just no.
what
I just thought that you want to say something, but no. Just to finish what I was saying. For me, it's something very important to realize. Oh, what I want to learn, and my intention comes from first, and after I try to find the methodologies way to learn this thing, and because of that, I don't like to classified myself as a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. Even if I really think that we can find something that usually works for us, but it depends too much. And I think that
yeah,
it's something that it's very important of this classification is that they show different ways to learn things, how we can learn things in the different way. And I think that it's important to have this knowledge about all these different things, so
yeah,
try
yeah.
to learn different ways, and because if one doesn't work, we can try another one.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes we study many years. We can to get when course superior course we know about theory,
Yeah.
but you need to practice the things that we learn. Then I think the visual method, it's good to learn to learn the things that we are practicing. The visual method to practice our work, for example. Our work, when we practice, is very, 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 very good, very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, and it's about how said something that Diego said, that it's, for example, this thing that we have to experience things, and
Yeah.
I think that we have many ways to do it. I really believe on it. We have many methods, different
Yeah, we
ways to
we,
experience things, but it's the way that really we
we
can
can
learn things. It's to trying it.
We can, for example, we can to be a good professional in the electronic, in electricity, in other things. But if you not practice the things, we can make the work. But you work better if you can to see the things that are doing.
Good points, good points. So, guys, let's think about our usually, especially, let's take our English learning process. And I would like to hear from you, Diego. How do you usually study, how say that, English in general?
Okay.
What methods do you use to improve your English?
Okay. Actually, I don't study using grammar books or using grammar exercises. Actually, I'm here on TNT. I have another English course too that I'm go there to make some specific exercises. But what I
Okay.
do, I use this. I use it to record the immersion, okay, with one device here, and after this, I make the um, transcription of the whole immersion.
Hmm.
And after this, I'm go to the AI tool. Nowadays, I'm using Gemini Pro. It's better for this. And I have a prompt inside there, a structured prompt tells with the talking with the AI tool about to be an English teacher who are helping a Brazilian guy to study better, and for he revise make the revision of the whole conversation and make summary of the points and the subjects that I need to study better. For example, about
Okay.
my conversation, about my English structure of phrases, my vocabulary, my pronunciation, and in the same deliverable, AI shows me the points that I need to study and put in the same document the questions to help me study better. And with this prompt, I can improve my conversation and I don't know, attack the pain points that I have in English. And actually, that's the way that I'm studying.
No, but very good, very good. For the first time, I heard someone say that with this method, and I think that it's a very good method because something to me that's always important. For example, here on Talk and Talk is to be intentional. To study with intentionality. Even because I really think that to be here, just to be here, it's helpful. I'm a proof of that. I could see in my development how could increase my English here. But now, especially when we already achieved a certain level of English, intermediate, upper intermediate level, it's so hard to get better without intentionality. So what are you doing? It's very interesting because you can study other things, especially focus on your speaking, focus on your communication, and very, very helpful. I will think about it to do the same thing. If it's not so complicated, because for example, I have no idea after if you can share with me how to transcribe this immersion.
Yes.
It's a mystery for me.
After I can
But
talk to you about it, there is some ways to
yeah,
you.
thank you.
I study a little bit about it because I'm using it a lot, not just in English, but in my job too.
Oh, thank you so much, and Hassan, for share this knowledge with me. What about you, Joaquin? How do you usually study in English?
Well, about me, it depends. It depends also the type of the study that I doing. For example, if I need to study math, for example, or chemic, physics, my method is to do many exercises. Because if you are learning some material, some discipline, if you learn in not practice, it's not good. Many students they are problem in learning math because they study math, but they don't practice exercises about math. Then we learn practicing a lot. In the water material, for example, here in immersion, in the English immersion or French immersion, we need. For me, for example, I'm 79 years old. Then I'm not 40 or 45 years. Then sometimes I'm some difficult to memorize vocabulary. Then my method is to repeat again. It's my method. For example, I listen one podcast per day, one podcast in English, one podcast in French. Then sometimes I need to listen one time, two times, and many words in many vocabulary. I need to repeat many times the words to memorize the words. In each immersion, I made a resume of some words, and then I forgot with this method. Sometimes I forgot the words.
No, that's perfect, Joaquin. And I think that you said something that to me it's the key of the learning process, that it's repeat again, repetition. And to use another Latin phrase here, we have something that is from Latin too, that's repetitio est mater studiorum. So the repetition, it's the mother of the learning process or stuff like that, if you can say. And I totally believe on you. When I think that is the key for everyone. The question is to keep motivation to repeat again and again. It's hard. So because of that, we have to use some tools as make exercises, as being in immersion, talking about what we are studying, as reading about it, listen people, because it's so hard to repeat
the
again
problem
and again.
Nowadays the problem of the students, it's because they don't practice exercise. They make the exams. For example, they make the exams. They only study for the exam. They memorize all the material. They memorize the material for the exam. 1 week after the exam, they don't remember more the material because they don't practice. Many students, they are problems in learning maths because they don't practice the math. Then we need to practice. We need to practice a lot. Make it all kind of exercise about the material that you are learning to understand well the material. Because if you don't understand, it's difficult to learn the material, the discipline.
I agree with you. And I'd like to hear from you, Diego, if you agree with this thing about a repetition as something, the key thing, or at least something very important. And I would like to hear from you even about motivation, because I told you the first thing that came to my mind when we talk about repetition is I know that is important. I know, for example, that the one thing that I've been fail in my English learning process is to make revisions constantly. So I think that we have to do. It's I just wanted something new and learn something new. No, if I have already known good, wow, in fact, the things that I've already learned it once in English, I would be fluent now. So even if of course, I can learn a lot of many new things, but if I've already known everything that I've already learned it, real known, I could consider myself a fluent, someone that had, but that's not the case right now. So revision is so important. So I'd like to hear from you, Diego, how it's important this for you, this thing about repetition, if you have some other methods to do, and how, and something more different but related, how do you keep motivation to keep studying? What are your motivations or your motivation to study English and other things in life too?
Good point. Good point. Just I will start with the repetition. Okay, I really like. I think
Okay.
that's so important. The repetition, as Joaquin said before, is the way that we can practice, and the art of repetition is in the center of the learning. I totally agree with your Latin phrases. It's a beautiful phrases. I remember when I started study French, my first language. Um, a guy shared with me the assimil method. I don't know if you know, it's a very consecrated method. Is assimil. The name is very suggestive too. Assimil from assimilação, assimilar.
Yeah.
It's only French, and the methodology is you need to repeat all the lesson. After this, you need to write 3 times the lesson, 3 times the dialogues between people, and each lesson we present you new phrases, new structures, and new words. After the whole method, you are able to go to one French country and to speak common language, not a so advanced language, but and I remember this, and after this I started learn the Larousse method, and I remember the Gemoget method. I have here the books from Gemoget, and I used the same structure of study: write and repeat. Because when you write, you put. Here we return to the first question. When you write something, you put more senses than just reading. Because when you are reading something, you are just using your eye, and sometimes when you read aloud, you are using your voice and your ear. But when you are writing, you need to touch the pencil or the pen and the paper. You need to see the phrase. You need to manipulate the book with your touch. You sometimes you smell the book, or you just seeing the I don't know, the computer. And this is so important in our way to learn writing things. Okay, for me, write is helping me a lot. I'm trying to return to the writing. I'm start a new book here, writing a lot of things using the bullet journal method. Helps me a lot nowadays in my personal organization and to study too. Okay, and this is about repetition and about how to be motivated to study and repeat the things. Okay, I think that you need one dream in front of you, especially if you are doing tough things, difficult things, okay? And learn a new idiom is not so easy, especially when you will have more age. We start our mind is full of things, of job, of different kind of studies, of
Yeah.
problems, of taxes to pay, of cards, this kind of stuffs. And we need to, in that moment, sometimes make this without I don't know, motivation. We need just to do. But when you have a dream in front of you, oh, it's a good way to help you to be more motivated, to repeat, to study, and this kind of stuff. And to study English, my big most motivation is grow up in my career. Okay, I don't know, take more international jobs on my company, be able to assume a high position. And English is so important because I work in a national company. And for me, it's important. This is one of my motivations right now. Okay?
Very good,
Diego,
very good.
Rafael, sorry, Diego. I don't know if in Brazil is the same method. But for example, when in my primary school, my primary school, in the fourth year, na quarta classe, in the fourth year, every day we make a ditado,
Yes,
dictation by the teacher. The teacher read for us one lesson. You made the dictate. Each hero that we made, we need to write the word 20 times.
20 times.
20 times. Every Harry, 20 times. But it's because today I how to say many words in Portuguese we in all this time we never forgot to write the certain words. For
Very
example, we can see, for example, here in social media, people writing some things. They are heroes. The heroes. Many dão muitos erros. Não se sabe como é que as pessoas conseguem dar aqueles erros. For example, words with dois S, um S de cedilha, com Z, com S. Many people, they don't know how to write these words.
Especially on Portuguese.
In Portuguese. Today, the method in the schools today is totally different. The students today, many students today, they don't know how to write the many words in Portuguese. They made many errors in Portuguese because they don't know how to write the many words.
Good point. Yes.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. I have another question for you too, related to what Joaquin said. That it's, do you think that what is different than the pros and cons of this change of ways to learning? For example, what do you have better now, and that it's in what it's worse now than it was before? How say that to make this comparison? Would you like to start, Diego, if you have an opinion about it? Because I think that it's not always something that, oh, it's worse or better. It's different, and you can try to to maintain things that used to be that were good, and to use it now, new tools as you are using right now. For example, the AI. So go ahead, Diego.
Yes, I remember the first time that one teacher said to me, "You don't need to decorar." I don't know this in English, okay? You just need to understand the thing. And I remember is a geographic teacher. I don't know if that's the correct name for the subject, geografia. And I remember that on that time, I knew all the capitals of European countries, America, South America, and I remember all the capitals of every state in Brazil. And the teacher just, no, for me, it's not good because you decorate this. For me, it's better if you know about it. But I remember, I'm thinking about it. It's up on that time is a division, my mind and my way to learn. Yes, I need to understand, but some things I need to decorar to remember this in the future, because how can we learn without decorar? Okay, and actually, the name of this is construtivismo. Okay, and I remember because I studied this in licenciatura. I studied licenciatura on the college and university, and I remember this. I think that's a way to learn. It's not we can't just, I don't know, delete this of our, no, it's a way, and it's a school, and there is a space for this, but I don't like it much, because we use it here with our kids. My wife is a teacher for kids, okay, pedagoga, and
Okay.
we use a different approach here, and help us a lot. And our kids are, modestia aparte, I don't know this in English, are so smart guys, okay? They read a lot. We have around 400 books for them, just for them. They have their own book library, and they read a lot. I have a guy here, my kid with 10 years. He read all the books, for example, of The Hobbit and the Senhor dos Anéis, and the other books from this author, and the collections. He started to learn bilingual books too, in Portuguese
Very
and
good.
because the beginning of the alphabetization is in a different way, okay? Is used to decorar poesias. I remember with 5 years, he knew around 10 poesies from Fernando Pessoa, from
Very good.
different poesies, okay? Works better for me than the other methods. But I respect, I think that's a way, but I don't like. On the school, my kids study these methods, constructivist methods. Okay, it's a mix between constructivism and another ones, but in our house, we use a different method. The previous one, the old one, okay, with repetition, dictation, this kind of stuff. Okay, that's my
Very
personal
interesting.
opinion about it.
Very interesting. I totally believe in it, and I think that it's important. The only thing that I think that it's especially when we are adults and we have to decide by ourselves, and we have this liberty to, in the certain times, to ruin our life too, and or to increase or to get our life better. It's hard to do it. By ourselves. I don't know, and but I totally agree with you. And I think memorize it's something important. Without memorizing, we cannot really learning. And before we, there are things that we have to memorize before understanding.
That's
I
it,
really believe.
because when you memorize, for example, a poesy or just one phrase, you understand the way that the Portuguese language works, and the
Yeah,
framework, and the way to think in a logical mode. And actually, unfortunately, people can't speak in a logical mode. I'm seeing people make presentations on my job is without logical. They can start with one argument and one different argument to make a conclusion. Okay? Premissa maior,
yeah,
premissa menor e
yeah.
conclusão. Logic way to think. They can't do this. It's very difficult for them to understand. And when you know a little bit better, because I'm not a smart guy, but I studied. And when you start to speak, I'm used to work. I working right now with numbers, but the literature helped me to be a better numbers guy, a better math guy, statistical guy, because it helped me how to construct an argument, how to construct a phrase. Okay, and this is difficult to show and to prove to people right now.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I like this structure too. For example, in the law, we have this syllogism all the time. Have
That's it.
to use it, and
Very
it's very
important.
important. But what about you, Joaquin? Do what do you think that it's better now than it was in the past, and what do you think that this is problematic that we change it because in the past it was better?
Yes, yes. Many people said that nowadays the methods nowadays it's much better than in the past. But it's depend of the point of view of each person. In my case, uh, I think in the past, for example, when I was in the primary school, after 4 years, after 4 years in our primary school, we we stay more prepared than these electives, than the students in this moment with 6 or 7 years in the school. Because in the past there was essential things, essential subjects. For example, about Portugal, it's for general culture, cultura geral. I think it's good we learn. For example, in my primary school, we learn here about Portugal, the province, the cities of province, the rivers, the mountains, some linhas de caminho de ferro, ferrocarril. It's not many important things to know, but for general culture, I think it's good, because today there are people they don't know what was the first king of Portugal. They don't know what is the first king. If I know what was the fourth king of Portugal, they don't know. They don't know nothing about the story of Portugal. We have 3 rivers, important rivers in Portugal: Douro, Mondego, e Guadiana. 2 rivers eles nascem em Espanha, they born in Spain. Many students they don't know the name of these rivers, because they don't study that material in this moment. They don't know nothing about the culture of Portugal. In Portugal, it's one country. It's the oldest country in Europe. Portugal, it's the more ancient, mais antigo country in Europe. Many students they don't know nothing about the history in Portugal, because after the pós 25 de Abril, after because the big revolution in Portugal, they said that they don't need to memorize, to know that things. There was a big revolution. In the method studying, they don't learn that things. Sometimes I feel I stay very, very admired, because some things that the people don't know. They know something.
Yes. For example, when a Portuguese boy, memorized that the Rio Tejo is important for the Portugal, not just about science, is important for historical. For example, there is a huge histories around the Foz do Rio Tejo. Yes, I remember a history about Dom Afonso Henriques talk about the Foz do Rio Tejo. Yes. There's something so important to understand. That's not just to memorize the name of the river, but the whole story behind the name of the river. It's not just the river, okay? There is a behavior, there is a culture, there is people around the river, not just the name.
For example, if you ask, for example, one student, what represent the Mosteiros dos Jerónimos, por exemplo, the monastic Jerónimos, they don't know. They don't know it was for the discovery of the India. They don't know what happened, the building of the Mosteiros dos Jerónimos. They don't know. I think maybe it's not important. It's not important. Yes, for the general culture, I think it's more or less important, I think.
That's it.
That's a It's a good point. And I was thinking here, listen, you guys, that how, because memorizing, it's a part of the learning process. I think that we cannot learn something without memorizing. And the point it is, usually what the people call memorizing, it's just so trying again to remember, but it's the only way, or at least for me, for
What?
really know something, because it's one level of our learning process, because the first thing we learn, oh, the Rio Tejo, it's a river from Portugal, and then after I have to know, and after I will start to memorizing other things and try to understand how it's important, how it's related to biology, history, geography, culture, what happened in this river. So it's the beginning of everything. I think it's start to memorize it, because if I don't know if the Rio Tejo exists, if I don't keep it in mind, I will not asking about other things that how said that are related to Rio Tejo. I don't know it's the good example, but to me it's very important, this process that is to try to keep in mind, and the key is trying to revise every time. So guys, I think that we don't have time to develop a bigger question, not anymore. But I would like to first of all hear from you, how it was for you, this immersion, and especially if you have to share something about your learning process, or what you thought it was more interesting to discuss here. So let's start with you, Diego.
Okay.
Maybe you have time for another one, but just to not skip this part that's important.
Okay. Um, there's there is a different ways, in my opinion. Okay. You need to find your better way to learning. It's not. Um, we have some structures in the society, as we are talking about, and and this the beginning of the from the beginning of the conversation. But you need to know your good way. For example, for Joaquin is, I don't know, write 20 times the same word to understand that's the correct way to write this phrase or this word. Sometimes people need to make I don't know, a history using 3 times, or a phrase using 3 times that word, because learning with context is better than just the word without context. And to make chance the connection between the context. Okay, there is different ways, but the most important thing is to understand your way, and you need to make tests and to write the results of this. Okay, I used this methodology, and after 2 days I forgot, I don't know, 100% of the subject. I studied in a different way, and after 1 week I remember, I don't know, 50% of the thing. And the spaced repetition is important too for everyone, because when you don't repeat, you can't remember the thing. And if I study a new word right now, and I don't know, never use it in the future, I will not remember it. But some things you can adapt to our situation, to our way to learn. That's my point here about this topic to
No,
finish.
very important. Very important. I took notes here, Diego, and thank you for sharing this thoughts with us. What about you, Joaquin? How was the conversation for you? If you have some thought to finish here this topic, go ahead.
This topic for me was wonderful. I like to discuss a lot this kind of subject about memorize, about learning, about methods, studies. For me, it's the better method to the better topic to discuss. I like a lot.
Oh, that's very good.
It,
Good to hear. And guys, for me it was the same. I think that today it was very clear for me how important it is to revise, how important it is to take notes, to try to avoid some things that it's so easy nowadays. That use the technology, use the board here to do everything with my computer and use my hands to do things. How it's important. Trying to evaluate my methods sometimes, not every time, because I think that you have to create trust the process a little bit, especially when you already got used to learn things. And yeah, our three here, we already have said that we are adults and we already passed for a lot of things, and we know, even if unconsciously, we already know how to learn and in the especially what works are for us. So trust the process is important too. And nowadays, especially for me, is to not be so anxious, because learning process take time, repetition. The problems of students, as Joaquin said, oh, they studied just for the test and after they forgot. It's just because the learning process is not like that. You cannot just learn something in 1 week and after, oh my gosh, I already know it. No, we will forget. It's like that. You have to accept it. And especially nowadays that everything have to go fast, everything is so for yesterday, not for tomorrow. You have to slow down when it's possible. And it's something that I've been trying to do in my learning process, especially in English, my English learning process, is to accept the fact that it was good when I could have stood for 4 hours every single day. I could see the improvement, but 4 hours every single day is not better than 30 minutes every day for 4 years, So to try to think about it. So thank you so much
Uh,
for being
uh,
here.
Ra-
See you in the
Rafael,
next tomorrow if you can. And go ahead, Joaquin, to finish.
uh, sorry, so one thing. I have two grandsons in the university. When I start discussing something about geography, history, about Portugal, it's they said for me how you can to memorize to know all these things in all this time when I say to him all the 32 kings in our history in Portugal, they say, "But how is possible to know all the things? I don't memorize. I Helen understand the subject, understand the subject to know all the kings that have in Portugal."
Yeah, and I think that it's another way to learn that we can discuss in another immersion, that it's try to put this in action in our life, to do it with emotion, to not just rationally but with emotion. For example, I'm pretty sure that your grandsons and your kids, Diego, they can
You
learn even better because they have you, they have this connection with you guys. And it was the same for me with
you
my mother. And
you
so it's so
can
important too.
you can to finish the other questions in the next immersion.
Yeah,
Exactly, we will do for
very good
sure.
talk.
Yeah, it's a topic not for just one immersion, and for sure I will bring this topic in the next time. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
I think
thank you,
that's to
thank you.
finish with this part. And now we have a friendship here, so it's
Yeah, yeah,
easier
yeah,
to
yeah.
learn to keep motivated. So see you tomorrow or in
See
our
you, see
next
you, see you. Nice.
immersions. Bye.